What up, though?
Hey.
What's going on, man? I'm like, my head's cut off now. Let me raise the camera up a little higher. A little higher. Okay. Good evening.
Hey, good evening.
Thanks for coming on. Welcome to the Bag Talk podcast. I was just kind
Thank you for having me.
of giving everybody a preview about your story, and you say Apple's still better, whatever, man. About your story and your whole transformation. So we're going to talk about Wonder Foods. We're going to talk about your personal training and just everything. We're going to talk about you too. All right. So we're going to rewind it all the way back to the beginning. All right. So because one thing I did notice about your page, you didn't have hairstylists on there.
No, not anymore.
No, so you don't do hair no more?
No, I didn't. I haven't done hair in about 2 years now, actually.
Wow.
No, I'm not a hairstylist anymore, and people still ask, and I'm like, well, I can't do it no more, y'all. I don't even have the time. Even if I wanted to, I just don't have the time. I was just blessed to be able to transition from that without having to still do both. At the time, because sometimes when you're transitioning into different careers, you have to still hold on,
right?
For however long until you feel comfortable with your new career. But I was blessed to just kind of smoothly transition from here to meal prep and, of course, now personal training, bodybuilding, teaching hip hop steps. I've been truly blessed. I don't even know really where to start, honestly.
Well, okay. Well, we'll start here. So basically, I know hairstyling was like your passion. So what was that like, giving that up? Or was that an easy transition to actually give up actually doing it?
To be honest with you, it was not that hard because it was so many things going on in my life at that time. I had just lost my mother. I was already feeling unsatisfied with my career. I was feeling, like my clients were taking me for granted at times.
Showing up late.
Huh?
I said they were showing up late. You had a 2 o'clock. They showing up at 2:30.
It's a number of different things. I was one of the rare hairstylists that was ready for my client when they set their time. For example, their appointments at 2 o'clock. I was there ready for them at 2. It was very few times where any of my clients had to walk in and I had like 2-3 people in there in front of them. And if that was the case, I was wrapping up, I always tried to be a professional as possible because I felt like treating people how I would want to be treated as a client. I don't want to be sitting up waiting on my hairstylist to come in, and she come in, got to eat, and then, all of my major part of my service has been taken care of by the assistant, but I'm paying my hairstylist to do this. So, a lot of people still deal with that, and, to each his own, but for me, I know I would not want to have to deal with that.
Right.
It's how I treated my clients. They were my priority. And, with that, sometimes you don't get what you deserve in the end. I'll just leave it at that.
Right.
And so that's why I felt unsatisfied. And with me going through my lifestyle change, as far as my health, and it just made it easy for me to transition from hair to meal prep, because that's where I started. Once I decided to change my career, I moved to meal prep first. And which was, I love it because I love to cook,
Right.
and me being an ex-big girl, everything tastes great, even though, you still lose weight with it. So, it was my joy to be in the kitchen, just kind of, by myself, trying to figure out recipes and what still tastes great, but still safe, that you can still, progress in your weight loss goals. And so I just fell in love with it. And from there, I created so many different recipes now that I just have, I have meal prep packages that I put together. Actually, I work at JC Jones Boot Camp.
Right.
And of course, the meals are based on, the JC Jones meal prep system or meal plan system, which is what helped me with my success. So it's just so many different things that came along with that. But for me, now I feel satisfied. Now it's time to build and let people know about the program and how successful I was and still am on it, and just let them know that it's a struggle for everybody, but
Right.
you have to start somewhere. And for me, you just gotta kind of figure it out, because everything doesn't work for everybody. But if you at least try and see if something will work, you just never know. You just kind of have to put your own program together. But this program is like, I don't have anything else to compare it to because I haven't done any other programs. But I will say, like, it just helped me change my whole life. And as you can see from my page, from a hairstylist to now doing everything that I do now, I'm passionate about it, and I'm definitely wanting to let my people know, and let everybody know that it's possible wherever you are, however old you are, however big you are. It's never too late, and you're never too big. Starting small, it does wonders,
So your clients, were you able to try to kind of transition some of your clients from hairstylists over to the meal prep and the personal training?
Yes, I tried and tried and tried and tried.
They gonna come over. They gonna come once you get, like, they always wait till like the bandwagon is full. Then they want to jump on. Yeah. But they could have got on at the very beginning since they knew you.
And I'm not the type that tries to force people to do anything. I'm the type, I'll give you the information, I'll put it out there. Because people ask all the time, like, how did you do this? And what did you do? And what did you eat? And how often did you work out? And I tell them every single thing that I went through, every detail. Because for me, if at least one person gets it, I feel great about, what I do, because I know how hard it is. It is extremely hard, and it's even harder to maintain. A lot of people don't realize that either. Once you get there, what's next is creating another plan to stay focused and stay where you are, or even progress from there. But yeah, my goal now is to let everybody know everything I know, and how I got.
So let's rewind for a little bit. Let's go back to before, all this, the wonder foods and the bodybuilding and the steps and cardio. And where were you at from an emotional and a mental standpoint before you took on this journey of the weight loss? And what was the breaking point that made you actually do it? To like, you know what, like I'm going to change myself. You know, I'm just like, I've had enough. Like, I'm about to just go just full at it and just never look back.
Right. So, you know, I've been telling this like this cute story over the years about how I got started, and it goes as such.
Okay. Speak your truth, sister.
But it's really, really not the real truth. I'm just telling you what I've been telling people because I'm now telling the real truth about how I got started. I usually would tell people, which is true too, right. That, you know, that aha moment came when I was putting my shoes on one day and I went down to put one on and came back up and had to come breathe in for some air to go back down, right. Just tight. That really did happen.
Okay.
That really did make me want to just say, okay.
Like, this is crazy.
A freaking no. Yes. But before all of that, or I'm sorry, that happened and then some time went by. The real is I was homeless when I started out in this whole lifestyle. I was still doing hair, and I would go because I didn't really have anywhere to actually go take a shower. My family does not live in Michigan. Oh, wow. So really I didn't have many options at all. And I was embarrassed, which is why I didn't, this story is nothing anybody has ever really heard other than a couple of people. So I was super embarrassed that I had lost my apartment. I didn't tell any of my close friends. None of my family knew. They still don't. I mean, they'll know now, but
they're like, what?
But, like, this is truly an exclusive, like, for real.
Right.
So I had lost my apartment, and at the time I was doing hair at a private suite salon in Southfield, and I had access 24 hours a day. So what I would do is when everybody left the building, I would go in after and try to get some rest. Of course, with all the stress and everything, I wasn't getting too much sleep, but at least I had somewhere safe to lay my head.
Right.
So then, where do I keep my hygiene up at, right? So I found on Groupon at the time, it was a gym called Bad Boy Gym on Woodward at 13, right over there in the Beaumont Hospital area.
Right, yeah.
They had a class at about 6 a.m. And so what I would do is plan to get there a little earlier so that I could shower and then take the class and then shower after so that I could be prepared for the rest of the day. And so that went on for about, my eviction happened in February of 2014. I'm sorry, 2013. And no, was it 2014? It was 2014. I'm sorry. And so it was February 2014. And so from then up until about March, is how long I went through that whole process with the whole gym. And by then I had lost a good 20 pounds. And
stress.
It was from stress. It was from me still working out a little bit. I wasn't really I was working out about 4 times a week during that process, sometimes more, because I wanted to get in there to, get as many showers as I could. So after I got settled and found me a place and everything, I realized that I had lost this weight. And I knew it was partially because I was stressed, but it was also because I was actually moving my body and doing something.
Right.
And I started feeling good about myself because, I got me a place, and I can continue with my health, get my health together, because I needed to do this anyway. And so I went on and joined JC Jones Boot Camp. That was March of 2014.
Okay, shout out to JC.
This was the start of the journey that you've seen so far. I started in March, and by September of that year, I had lost 100 pounds. That was like, I wasn't trying to go in there and just do 100 pounds. I just went and I saw progress, and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And I felt great too, which made it easier to try to keep going and see how far I can go. And I was just excited about my health, because I literally felt pre-diabetic. I was getting tingling into my toes. I was like sweaty as hell all the time. And you saw some of the old pictures. Huh?
Were you like feeling fatigued and like tired all the time? Like,
oh my God, all the time. And with me having to stand doing hair, all that weight on my knees, and I'm only 5. Look, I say 5'4", but I'm like maybe 5'3 and a half. Or
I give you that half. We're gonna go ahead and give it to you.
3/4. Can I get another quarter?
You pushing it now. You pushing it.
So I'm super short with all this weight, and my heaviest had to be like 285, maybe more, who knows. But I started feeling lighter. A lot of the moves and stuff that we did in boot camp at first were like, oh my God, it just felt like I was going to die. But they started getting easier. It's still not easy, but it got a little better as I lost the weight, and as I started moving my body, my joints wasn't hurting me as bad as they used to. I still get a few aches and pains, of course, because of the wear and tear I did on my body over the years, but it's nothing compared to me carrying around almost 300 pounds on my small frame. And so after the first 100 pounds, I kind of wanted to start moving into doing some classes. And that's where Hip Hop Step came about.
Okay.
And people ask me all the time, like, where did your routines come up? Or how did you make these routines up? And to be honest with you, I can't even tell you, because sometimes I'll hear a song on the radio on my way to class most of the time. And I'll be like, oh, you know what? This will be if I can figure out if the count is a 1, 2, 3, 4 count or an 8 count, then that just determines how fast I can come up with the routine.
You're going to have to type in the information too. See, you're going to have to type in like the address and all the information on the step class.
Yes, absolutely.
Makes much more sense. What time are the classes?
We're on JC Jones Boot Camp. Classes are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. Coming up in October, actually October 4th, I'll be at Christ of Messiah Church on the east side. Okay. I'll be posting that address as well. It's actually on my page. And I'll be doing class at 6 p.m. on Thursday nights on the east side. So I'm kind of trying to expand a little bit. So people can really get an experience, because, I hear people kind of hit me up on the DM all the time asking me, do I have an east side location? I don't have a location at all. I don't have a gym yet, but...
Right. But I guess what JC is at is pretty neutral. I mean, because he's right at Linwood and...
Oh, yeah. He's right at the lodge, so you can hit anything off the lodge.
Right.
In the Davidson, too, so, right there. But yeah, I'll be posting everything. Actually, let me put the address here right now so people can...
So how did you go from So you joined JC Jones, and now you're participating. So how did it get to the point where you started having your own thing, where you started having your own classes, and what made you kind of like take that initiative to do that? Because that's a lot of accountability to be that consistent every week, and you're actually running a class because you got to get there early and set up, and it's a lot to it. So how did you get to that point where you're just participating, so you're actually running the classes?
Well, I wanted to do something in the boot camp because, like I said, I felt great about myself, and I kind of just wanted to have some kind of class, you know. So, and on top of that, at the time, the gym was needing something kind of new too. So I was like, you know, let me see what I can kind of come up with, and I saw a routine on. I think it was Instagram or something with steps, and it kind of sparked my creativity because I'm like, oh man, I could do something. I could really create some stuff with this. And so I kind of played around with it a little bit and came up with about 4 or 5 routines to present before I was like, you know, I want to do this class. Let me do this class, man. So I showed him, and he was like, oh, this is cool. So I did like a few, like, they were like instructional videos that are on YouTube, which I got to revamp my YouTube page. It's super whack right now. But what I plan on doing is going on there and putting up some videos and breaking them down so that when new people want to come to the class, they can just go on my YouTube page.
And actually, YouTube has a class too.
Oh, okay.
YouTube they have a branded class where they show you how to set up your channel and all that. I watched a little bit of it, and it's great, you know. So
yeah,
that's
I'm gonna check it out because I need to. I really need to.
They have a class. They even got seminars like you can fly out to California.
Yeah, because I keep telling people I'm kind of shy, but I'm not a video person.
Right.
So.
Gotcha.
But I know this is the generation of the videos, so I can't get out. I cannot get out of it. So, I got to get with it. I'm ready.
So you have the step class. Do you do kickboxing as well? You do the kickboxing class?
No, I used to do some boot camp classes, and I will fill in from time to time when I'm needed. But my focus right now is hip hop step and personal training and meal prep. Yep. But yeah, I'm actually doing another class at another event. I just got to kind of confirm it, but so that's why I was kind of hesitating, like, I'm not. But I'm going to confirm it and then, you know, let everybody know. But yeah, I will fill in boot camp classes when I'm needed. But yeah, hip hop step is like my thing, my main thing right now.
So I saw one of your videos and it was crazy. I guess you was like running or jogging. You had like the sweat vest on. And it's like you poured out like a damn whole bucket of water.
And some days
that's crazy. It's like 10 pounds right there. It was like literally you poured out like it could fill up like a gallon of water. Right.
Yeah, some days it's more than that. I think I had soaked up a lot of it in my pants because it had dripped down. But that thing is like awesome. It's super awesome. I wear it in the sauna as well. You can get a super good sweat out. A lot of stuff that I've learned through bodybuilding prep has helped me kind of maintain. Like, I'm still kind of fluffy to me, but, you know, everybody's like, oh, you look good. Yeah. But,
so
you know, once you...
What is the dynamic behind that? You know, so people can kind of understand, like, how does that help you doing something like that?
With the sweat jacket?
Yeah, with the sweat jacket and wearing in the sauna and all that.
So what you want to do is, if you're doing cardio, it just kind of helps you sweat a little more than you would by yourself with, you know, whatever work that you decide to do, whatever cardio you do. I don't wear a shirt. I just wear like a sports bra under it. So it's kind of like touching my skin, which creates even more moisture as I sweat. So the more you sweat, the more you're getting out water retention from your body. A lot of people hold a lot of water weight. And it's from maybe some of the salty foods that they eat or not drinking enough water to push out the water that they are holding. But I knew for me, I was holding a lot of water, so that's why I wore it on top of the heel workout. That was like a heel that I was running on that morning.
Okay, so running up a hill, would you recommend that for just anybody? Like, maybe you ain't worked out before, you got like 30-foot incline. Like, how should they approach something like that? Should they just go up maybe twice, 3 times?
I would not suggest that they run. They should first check their doctor. Ask their doctor, see if it's okay for them to work out. If they're cool and they can work out, then maybe try on a low intensity type of exercise to see what works for them. And then, with the heel, if you're just starting out and you just want to walk the heel, you can get a great intense workout. You don't really have to run it. But, depending on your fitness level, if you feel like you can run and you got the approval from your doctor and you have no joint issues, go right ahead, do whatever you want, feel is good for you.
Okay, let's get into the Wonder Foods. Because I want to make sure we cover everything. So with the Wonder Foods, how did that start about? And just tell everybody, like, what are some of the packages that they can get with that? How does that whole process work?
Okay, so I started it because I was losing all this weight and people were trying to figure out how I ate and what I ate. And I'm like, it's just the stuff that's on the meal plan. It's the stuff on the meal. I kept saying that, but they were like, well, how do you prepare it? And I came with these, cute little meals that I had prepped, like turkey meatballs. And my stuff looked like it was gourmet food. And they was like, well, how you still lose weight? And I'm like, well, you just got to kind of play around with your recipes. And I was like, you know what? These people really don't know how to make this stuff taste good. This, I already like cooking. Why not just make it a business? And so my first recipe was my Wonder Greens. Now, those are like the best. And I can say that.
I see that on there a lot. I see them. So how is that different from just like your mom or your grandma's greens? Like, what's the difference?
So typically, our people love some pork or some smoked meat. However, we can't have smoked meat on our meal plan. So I found a way to make fresh turkey wings taste great. And I don't use any smoked turkey. I don't use grease or shortening or vegetable oil. It's lean meat, and a little olive oil, some sea salt, pepper, just basic ingredients. Nothing that will clog you up or anything. And of course, collard greens once, you can put meat together. It's kind of like a special recipe that I plan on patenting, so that's why I'm.
Yeah, you gotta patent that and get it out here in these streets.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not giving away too many of the ingredients.
Put it out there.
Right, no, but that was a good start. As long as they know, no smoked turkey, no smoked meat at all.
Okay.
You can season your meat to taste great without it being super soaked in salt and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
So,
is there a link for your Wonder Foods? Do you have a link for that? Or just follow your Instagram?
So they can follow me on Instagram at Wonderful LLC or Facebook LLC or Wonderful LLC.
Okay, make sure you put that in too for the your Instagram for your Wonder Foods. So I think what a lot of people would, because it's back to human nature. We're creatures of habit, so we used to go into the grocery store, buying certain things we like. So what is the difference in maybe me, going and just going about a regular week, just buying lunch every day, going to the store, buying stuff, and maybe like using your program for like a week? Like, what would be the difference, like, from a monetary standpoint? Just on that.
Well, I can say, because most people really don't know how to shop. And then, unfortunately, and then when it comes to shopping healthy on a budget is even harder. I kind of, make it easy on everybody. I do all the shopping. I do all the cleaning, shopping, prepping, and you can get a package of 18 meals for $144 a week.
Okay.
Now, you can't get that anywhere, and these meals are full meals. You have your protein, your carbs, and your vegetables all in one container. That's super convenient, and all you have to do is pop it in the microwave, or if you don't use the microwave, just take it out, put it in an oven, and put it in an oven, and they're super convenient, and people love it. And, again, it tastes great. I obviously have eaten my own food, and that's where I got all of my success from. I even prepped my own food during my bodybuilding competitions. So I've had to do the research to figure out what your portions are in order for you to maintain or either lose weight. Because a lot of I have people who have custom packages. They're on a certain type of diet. They're either vegan, or they decided they wanted to do low carb this week, or they're trying to stay within a certain body weight, or if they have diabetes. I've helped people lose or get off their medications just off of wonderful.
Okay. So for me personally, I think last time I weighed myself, because I got caught slipping, I cut myself down to like 210. I think now I'm back to like 220. But my goal is like 195, 200. So what would I need to do? I know you got the basics of drinking water, but what should I do from like a meal standpoint to like get down to like 195, 200 point?
So you want to make sure, because sometimes a lot of guys don't eat enough. And, I know it's hard,
That's
on
not
the go.
my
Okay, but you have to eat often and the right things. Well, I say often, you have to eat at least 5 to 6 times a day. And that's not huge meals. Those are meals that are about maybe 4 ounces of protein, 3 ounces of vegetables, and about 2 to 3 ounces of carbs, and eating that in about every 2 to 3 hours to keep your metabolism up. And that way, as you're building your metabolism up, and you're adding your cardio in consistently, along with the water intake and everything, you can't do anything but make it work, because you're doing all the right things all at the same time.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of times people don't eat enough of the right things.
Okay, so you also competed in, the NPC competition? NPC?
Yes, I did 2 NPC bodybuilding competitions. My first one was May of this year, and then this last one was August 18th, the Linda Murray. It was something else. I can't even tell you.
So how you shine, but then you win a bodybuilding competition? That don't even matter.
Huh?
I said, you say you shine, you introverted, but you in bodybuilding competition.
You know what? I don't even know.
So how did you get into it? How did it all start?
Well, I felt like I was at a point in my career where I wanted, because especially now that I'm doing personal training, I felt like I needed to step my game up, and it would look great on my resume, right. To be a bodybuilder, and because not a lot of trainers can say that. So I was trying to step out from the crowd and do something that not a lot of people can do or say they've done. And that was for the first one. The second one, by the time I had made it to the end of my first prep and I had took the stage, I was feeling so great about myself that I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I made it this far. And I can't believe I actually did this, you know, especially coming from where I came from, 280 something pounds, to, you know, when I stepped on stage, I was 140, the first prep.
So you lost,
in this last prep,
so you lost almost $150. So that's like a whole other person.
Yeah, and so, and I was even smaller this last prep, which I would say at 135 on stage. So I was just feeling great. And so I was like, let me just go on and do this one. Let me see how I do. Now, that's not typical because most people who've been in this lifestyle as far as bodybuilding, they will tell you, you should not do back-to-back competition.
But of course, you did it anyway, right?
It's extreme. It's extreme. And so I was just excited at first, but then when I got in the midst of it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm so tired. I don't want to do this.
So, you know, walk people through these competitions, because a lot of people, they might not be familiar. What actually goes on in these competitions?
So you would have to pick a show.
Okay.
In order for you to train towards. So most people, you would try to get you a show that is at least 15 weeks away so that you give yourself enough time to diet and build muscle and lean out like you should. And once you find the show that you feel like you will be ready for, then you will have to get your team together.
Okay.
Most people, I didn't realize this when I was first getting into it. I needed a nutritionist. I needed a coach for posing. I needed a coach for nutrition. I needed a trainer, obviously, for my bodybuilding. I needed a masseuse.
Right.
I needed, and it was like literally I needed these people because the basic diet that I had learned how to just lose the weight that I had lost is completely different than in the bodybuilding world. This is
you
something
really can't eat nothing. Like if you eat a Snickers, like that could set you back. Like
I mean, it definitely gradually goes toward that at the end. And in the beginning, you still can eat a few carbs here and there.
Do you weigh your food too? Because I used to know a guy, he used to actually put his food on the scale before he even ate it. Oh, of course.
That's mandatory. That's mandatory.
My God. Jesus.
That was mandatory. Every single meal, everything you put in your mouth, it was measured out. You had to. It was like,
So
and sometimes I
counted. Every little half ounce, it made a difference.
Everything. And I would get lazy sometimes and say, you know what, this looks like it's about 2 ounces. So I'm going to just scoop it because I'm tired. I don't feel like getting the scale out. Okay. Sometimes like that. But yes, I was supposed to measure out every single thing. Everything.
Okay, this one thing I did want to talk about because I hear this a lot. Oftentimes, we hear about getting in shape. It's about the weight loss, per se. And that's not necessarily indicative of your health. So my first question is, how often should you even have an actual weight as a goal? And how often should you weigh yourself in the process? So let's say I start working out now. Of course, I should weigh myself today, but how often should I weigh myself, and how much does the actual pounds actually play into the whole thing?
Well, you definitely want to know where you're starting at. So you definitely want to get on the scale to start, just to get a starting point. However, don't make it a habit because, people will fluctuate as the month go by, especially women, because we have special things happening with our bodies all the time, and it definitely fluctuates. So you'll drive yourself crazy getting on the scale, after an intense workout, and then, it's happened to all of us.
We got 20 seconds left.
Okay.